Today we're going to be talking about reading weather maps and predicting weather. Okay, so we need to understand how to read a weather map. And there's lots of different kinds of weather maps, but they're all going to have some things in common. You will always see high and low pressure systems, and if there's fronts present on the map, you will see the fronts indicated. But then there's some that are going to have colors on them. There's others that will have circles on them, so we need to talk about those and what those mean. Isotherms show us areas with similar temperature on a weather map. So like this is an isotherm, and these different areas that are the same color connected by these lines all have the same or similar temperature within a 10-degree range. So this yellow right here would be your 60 degrees. This orange color would be 70 degrees. So that is called an isotherm. Therm means heat. Iso means same. So it literally means same heat. Right, this would be an isobar. And an isobar shows us areas that have similar air pressure. So on a map like this, where all the air pressures are mapped out, what you would need to do is then connect the dots. So all the ones that have similar pressure, so you can see all the 1016s, a line would go to connect those. And then all of these are 1020. All of these would be 1024. So this would be one pressure system. This would be a separate pressure system. And you can see how they come towards each other. So how do we know which is the high and which is the low? Inside this one, so let's look at the center, we have 1024. Inside this one, we have 1008. This one has the lower pressure, so that would be the low pressure system. So this would be your high pressure system, and that would be your low pressure system. Remember that the pressure systems spin different ways here in the northern hemisphere. High pressure systems spin clockwise, the same way the hands on a clock would move. Low pressure systems spin counterclockwise, the opposite direction that the hands on a clock would move. So an isobar shows us where the high and low pressure systems are on a weather map. Iso means same, bar means pressure, so same pressure. So what are the lines around the pressure systems called on a weather map? So those would be isobars because it's showing us pressure systems. Where is the high pressure system located on this weather map? Okay, so we have to know what the symbols are. We have to know that the H represents high pressure and the L represents low pressure. And on this, you would also need to look at the key to know what the letters are on the states. So we know our high pressure system is right here. We'd look at ID would be Idaho. So Idaho has the high pressure system. Where is the low pressure system located on this weather map? Again, we have to know the symbols. So the H is the high pressure, the L is the low. It's located near the WI. So if we look at our key, that would be Wisconsin. So Wisconsin has our low pressure system. Okay, let's review our symbols for our fronts. The warm front is red, and it has the little half circles on it. What does that mean? There could be precipitation followed by warmer temperatures. A cold front symbol is blue, and it has triangles. That means there could be precipitation followed by cooler temperatures. These can also produce thunderstorms or tornadoes. A stationary front. You have warm air on one side and cool air on the other, so it's represented by one side has the red with a little half circle, the other side has the blue triangles, and they would alternate back and forth. You would get precipitation, and it may last for several days. Our last type is occluded, and that is when two cool air masses trap a warm air mass in between them. So it would be purple, and all the symbols would be on the same side, and you would get precipitation. Okay, so a couple of things we need to know. Which way is the front moving? In this case, we know this is a cold front because it's a cold front symbol. And you can tell by the direction of the arrows which way it's moving. So this one's moving this way. And you can also see the temperatures labeled on this map. Notice behind the cold front, our temperatures are cooler than in front of the cold front. These are warmer temperatures. You got 59, 60, 55. And on this side where the cooler air mass, you have 38, 40, 36, 30, 28. So this is why when a cold front passes through, the temperatures get cooler. Warm front. So this is a symbol for our warm front. We can tell it's moving this way by which side the symbols are on. And notice the temperatures. On this side of the warm front, 71, 69, where the warm air is. And on this side, there's cooler air. So we have 53, 54, 48, 54. So as this comes through, it's going to bring those warmer temperatures with it. Okay, on this weather map, we can see our isotherms, the areas with similar temperatures. We can also see our highs and our low pressure system. And we have two fronts. This is our cold front. This is our warm front. So how can we tell which direction these are moving? So this cold front, we can tell because it's moving this way because of the way it's bent and the way the symbols are going. So let's look at our compass rose here. If it's going this way, that would be southeast. So that front is moving southeast. Here we have our warm front, and we can tell by the way that it's curved and the side the symbols are on that it's moving this way. So if we look at our compass rose again, if it's moving this way, that means it's moving northwest. So this warm front is moving northwest. This cold front is moving southeast. So looking at this map, which direction is the warm front near Los Angeles moving? All right, so here's the warm front that's near Los Angeles. It's moving this way. So if we look at our compass rose, it's moving northeast. What type of front is near Seattle? Okay, here is Seattle. So this is the front closest to Seattle. So that would be a cold front. What type of front is near San Diego? San Diego is here. So the front that's closest to San Diego is this one, and that would be a warm front. Remember, a warm front brings precipitation. So this area would be getting rain. Warm front doesn't mean that it's sunny outside. It is raining. It just means that after the front passes, we're going to get warmer temperatures. What type of front is near Tulsa? So if we look at Tulsa, now this long line, notice there's two different fronts. This is a cold front, but over Tulsa, we have the half circles on one side and the triangles on the other. So near Tulsa, that would be a stationary front. How can we predict the weather based on the current weather map? Okay, so now we have to put all these things together. We have to put our isobars, our isotherms, the high pressure systems, the low pressure systems, and the fronts together to be able to tell what kind of weather we're going to have. So if we look at this area with a high pressure system, that area would be having sunny weather, as would these other high pressures. But here we have a cold front. And this is also a radar image, so you can see all this green, that would be rain. Well, notice which way it's moving. It's moving southeast. Here's South Carolina. So right now, South Carolina has a high pressure system. It's part of that high pressure system. So right now, South Carolina is having sunny skies. But in a few days, we can predict that South Carolina will get rain and possibly even storms because of this cold front. Based on the weather map, what weather would you predict for Salt Lake City in the coming days? All right, so first you need to locate Salt Lake City. So that would be right here. All right, and look for clues to tell you. So is there a high pressure system? Is there a low pressure system? Is there fronts nearby? So because there is a stationary front coming towards Salt Lake City, we would expect for the coming days Salt Lake City to get rain. Now, what's going to happen to their temperatures? Well, you have to actually look at the stationary front. It tells you which side the cold air is on, which side the warm air is on. The cooler air is on this side, and the warmer air is on this side. So after this stationary front passes through Salt Lake City, we would expect their temperatures to get warmer. Based on the weather map, what weather would you predict for South Carolina in the coming days? Here is South Carolina. Notice there is a cold front coming into South Carolina. So you would predict that there would be rain, possible storms, and that the temperatures would get cooler after it passes. Based on the weather map, what weather would you predict for South Carolina and what temperatures would you expect in South Carolina? So right now, South Carolina has a high pressure system over it. So that means there would be fair, sunny weather. And the temperatures are in this green. So we have to look over here to see where that green matches up. So we have hundreds, 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s. So South Carolina would have clear skies because of the high pressure system. And according to the isotherm, the temperatures would be in the 50s.